Hey YouTube, this is Jaden coming at you again. In this video, we're going to be doing another Magic World deck profile. This one specifically will be focusing on my Dracowizards / Wizards. I built this mainly because of the Buddy Monster. And I saw him in Season 1, so that immediately gives him away. And I just fell in love with him, and I decided to build this deck because I thought he was just too cute. So anyway, let's just jump straight into this deck profile. So, of course, we have the cool little dragon sleeve for our Dracowizards deck on our flag. And our Buddy Monster is, obviously, Dracowizard Kinos Axia. Got a beautiful SP art of him. See that? SP. Take a picture of that shit. SPs don't exist in Buddy Fight anymore. So, put them off to the side. Size 3s, we're playing 2 copies of Green Witch Master Rafaga. Size 3 with 7,000 power, 2 crit, and 7 defense. Call cost is pay 2 gauge. If there are 3 or more different wizards in your drop zone, this card gets double attack. Then if you have 4 or more, he gets +3 power and +3 defense. And then if you have 5 or more, he can attack your opponent, even if there's a monster in their center. So if you can get 5 wizards in your drop zone, which is not hard, he will have double attack. He will be 10,000 power, 2 crit, 10,000 defense, and he will be able to attack your opponent directly, even if they have a monster in their center. So he is really, really good. I've even considered bumping him up to 3. Really good card. Size 2s. We play 4 copies of Chain Magic Master Link. 4,000 power, 2 crit, 4 defense. His ability is when you cast a spell this turn, this card gets +2,000 power and +2,000 defense. It activates only once per turn. Really good card, especially if you put it in your center. Because if you activate a spell during your opponent's turn, his defense gets booted up to 6k defense, and most decks are going to have to link attack to go after that. Next, we play 3 copies of Magic Knight of Bonds Ducal Height Liked. Size 2 with 7,000 power, 2 crit, and 7,000 defense. You may only call this card if you have 2 or more wizards in your drop zone. Call cost is pay 2 gauge. His actability, counter, you may discard a wizard from your hand. If you do this turn, this card gets +3,000 power, and the next time this card would be destroyed, it remains on the field. You may only use this ability once per turn, and he has double attack. So, really good there. Sorry guys, my throat's just been real dry. Next, for size 2s, we play 2 copies of Herb Magician Soichiro Tenjiki. Size 2 with 4,000 power, 1 crit, and 5k defense. His ability Concentrate, it makes all the cast cost of each of your Magic World spells reduced by 1 gauge. So you can cast some spells now for even cheaper or free. And then we play 1 copy, unfortunately, of Dracowizard Gorgas. I really like this card. If I didn't love Axia so much, this would actually be the buddy. I want more copies of this card. Call cost is pay 2 gauge and put up to 2 wizards from your drop zone into this card's soul. His ability is Spirit Orb. You may rest this card. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent, and if there are 2 or more cards in this card's soul, deal 2 damage to your opponent instead. He has Soul Guard, a size 2 with 4,000 power, 2 crit, and 3k defense. Really good for the burn aspect of this deck. So, next, we play 4 copies of our buddy, Dracowizard Kinos Axia, 5 in total. So his ability is pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, deal 1 damage to yourself or your opponent. Size 1 with 2,000 power, 2 crit, and 2k defense. He's here mainly just to help us whittle our opponent's life down even more. So, next we play 3 copies of Transmitter Dendo. Size 1 with 3,000 power, 1 crit, and 2k defense. His ability is if you have 2 or more wizards on your field, you may discard this card from your hand. If you do, put up to 2 cards from your deck. Put the top 2 cards of your deck into the gauge. So he helps you gauge a little bit. We play 2 copies of Magic Power Researcher Rin Kogasaki. If you play a spell card during that turn, the turn you cast it, he gains +1 crit. Size 1, 2,000 power, 2 crit, 2k defense. So if he casts a spell, he goes to 3 crit. 2 copies of Dracowizard Medium. Size 1 with 1,000 attack, 2 crit, and 5k defense. 3k defense, I'm sorry. If you have another wizard on your field, he gains 3,000 power. And then we also play 2 Dracowizard Burning Wand. Size 1 with 3,000 power, 1 crit, 2k defense. His ability is Burning Wand, which you rest him and you deal 1 damage to your opponent. You can only use his ability once per turn. So, for our impact monsters, we play 2 copies of Hardy ABSC Annihilate Buster Staff Custom. Size 3, 7,000 power, 2 crit, 7 defense. Call cost is pay 2 gauge and put a wizard on your field into the drop zone. His act ability, which is a counter. You may pay 4 gauge and discard a wizard from your hand. If you do, destroy all monsters on your opponent's field and deal 3 damage to your opponent. So you can use this on their turn and really ruin their day. So, only 2. That's all you really need. For our weapon, we play 3 copies of Gunrod Bosendorfer. Equip cost, pay 1 gauge. You may rest this card if you do deal 1 damage to your opponent. If both you and your opponent have a monster on each side, have 1 monster each on the field, then deal 1 additional damage to your opponent. So if you and your opponent both have 1 monster on the field, rest it, burn them for 2. It's kind of trolly, but I have done it before. I have actually gone pay a gauge, equip, rest it, and get rid of it, because this is not a once per turn thing. Oh, pay 1 gauge, re-equip, rest it, 2 more. Pay 1 gauge, equip, rest it, 2 more. So you can be kind of trolly there. For the spells, 4 nice ones. This is standard for Magic World. Pay a gauge, draw 2. 4 Solomon Shield. Cast it on an attack on your opponent's turn. If it's not a link attack, nullify it. 3 Epic Fail. Counter. You may only cast this if a size 2 or less monster on your opponent's field is attacking alone. Counter, if there is a monster with Dracowizard and its card name on the field, put the attacking monster into your opponent's gauge. and if you do not have a monster with Dracowizard and its card name on the field, return that attacking monster to your opponent's hand. So if you do have a Dracowizard on the field, it goes into the gauge. If you don't have a Dracowizard on the field, this is essentially magical goodbye. So, 3 Kosher. You may only cast this if you have 2 wizards on the field. Draw 1 card, engage 1. 2 copies of Chillax. Pay 1 gauge the next time you be dealt damage. Reduce it to 0 and gain a life. 2 copies of the Key of Solomon First Volume. Gauge 2. And then for the last one, we play 2 copies of... I'm sorry, guys. Let me scoot this down. I didn't realize how high that was. We played 2 copies of Great Spell Elegant Amazing Wall. This card is absolutely insane. You may only cast this card if you have 6 or more wizards in your drop zone. Cast cost, pay 3 gauge. For this turn, all cards on your field cannot be destroyed and you cannot be dealt damage. This would definitely be a side 2 more of in your side deck. But I do not have a sideboard built for this deck yet either. So that is my Dracowizard deck profile. Really, really fun. You can burn through your opponent pretty quickly with all the burn effects. A lot of fun to play. You speed through it pretty quick because it is Magic World and you have a lot of draw power and gauge power and all that. Very fun to play. You know, kind of annoying for your opponent because a lot of that burn damage, they just sit there and they can't really do much unless they have something that can reduce damage. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing this deck, and I'm glad I have it. There's still a couple of more things I want to do to it, but as of right now, it's playtesting very, very well and very consistently, so I'm very happy with it. So anyway, in the comment section below, tell me what your thoughts are on the deck. Give me suggestions if you have any. Would love to hear what your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video, and I will see you next time.